phasing lines?
Yep, the answer is yes. And if you don't mind, I'm going to take a little break. The coffee thing is screaming at me. And I'll let you guys go on for a minute. I'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely wanting to hear about that after I heard him switch the switch and point it the other way. I'm like, how do you do that? There was a guy up in Canada, I think he's near, like, way up there on the, above, like, the East Coast. And he had what they would call the Foursquare or whatever. And he could switch it and do all kinds of weird stuff. And I can't remember his call sign.
Yeah, there's more Foursquares in England. But no, the serious people usually got the some kind of beam going on. 2, 3. And the guy in Japan, it'll come to me, 7J4 Alpha Alpha Lima, I think. Yeah, it's just, that's a classic picture that went viral 20 years ago. 7J4 America, London. So if you are that's, you gotta know, like, he's Japanese, right? And sometimes they can get into stuff, and they really, really get into it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you probably know who Eddie is that hangs out on 3913, and he's basically got a wire beam hung up in the trees like 100 feet. So, and he's basically the only thing I hear on 3913. Half the time I can't hear the guys he's talking to.
Okay, I think I may know who. Well, there's that other guy, Tim, that's got the broadcast station. That's another story. He's pretty much got a broadcast station signal going out there, I know, on AM. But quickly about the antenna, don't worry, you don't have to write anything down except, it's funny because I built it myself using EasyNet. I kind of knew that I wanted a certain pattern. And because I don't have something I can steer, I realized, I was just doing a two-direction thing. But because I can't steer it, I want it to be as broad as possible. And really, it's sort of like the mathematical solution of you draw a north-south line through your radio station, right? And you want to emit as much power as possible to one side of that line or the other, but as broad a signal as possible. And the solution is a cardioid. So so if you look at a cardioid, that's kind of what I'm doing, a straightforward cardioid. And that is something that naturally falls together reasonably well. You can do it with coax. And if you look up, it's Christman method. So it's Christ, as in like Jesus Christ, MAN. So put Christman, Christman, it's pronounced, method. Then put the word method there, just Christman method, and Google that. You might throw antennas on there, but you'll run across at least a few designs where they're doing the same trick. Yes, the simplest way to explain it is you put them a quarter wave apart, and then you set it up so that you feed them so that the wave hits one a quarter wave sooner than the other. And depending on which one gets hit sooner than the other, that sets up how direction it goes. Now, there is an AM radio station on the United States on the East Coast called WBZ, Whiskey Baker Zanzibar. They're at 1.03 megahertz, 1030. They have two vertical half waves. So these are end-fed half waves. And that's what they're doing, the same exact thing, and they exact a cardioid, although they never switched theirs. The whole idea behind it was the engineer's like scratching his head, and 25,000 watts, they're going over the lot, says. And they put it together, and the FCC gave them a clearance on it, where they don't have to do a proof of performance anyway, other than to just have that bodacious signal that 38 states and 6 provinces get hit with.
Who's on the east side pattern of this thing? What degree is it?
Well, it's the same as what I'm doing. So if you've looked up this thing called Christman method, you will again, and if you took, oh gosh, what are those classes before you had to take the hard math? But you did the thing where you came up for the solution of a cardioid. It's just that matter. I mean, you can kind of look up a cardioid, or you've seen them on the backs of microphones. It's the same situation. A lot of times microphones actually do have the same thing, where there are two elements spaced a certain amount, and then they just phase them by their spacing.
No, I know. I understand cardioid. I'm just asking you, if you flip the thing east, where is it facing?
Well, it goes from about Scandinavia to South Africa really well. And that face, with that actual heading, I've worked Australia in the late afternoon, going over the Antarctic, ocean there, and getting into somebody the other side of Perth, Australia.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious, where was it faced?
Yeah, and then 12 hours later, same thing, only a little easier because it was a shorter path, going over Japan. But it's kind of a northwest pattern by the time you're going that far.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, there you go. So there it is. Nothing I invented. Well, I did, but it's already been invented. And nothing like finding that out. I kind of figured already. This is easy. It's easy peasy stuff, really. Just phase it up so the two currents match before you put it together. But it's tricky, we want to measure up with the coaxes. I'm sure it's great. If you get your hands on one of these new vector network analyzers, you could get that right down to the millimeters. And, well, if you do it for 40 or this band, you'll be squared away. So that's all. Other than that, I can't recommend enough the book Reflections by Maxwell, W2DU. It's online for free, so if you search Maxwell Reflections, that book taught me transmission line mechanics before I had to learn it.
Oh, yeah, I actually got a chance to meet him. Very, very good. Well, let's get a signal report. My name's Clark, W7WRX. I'm out here in Phoenix, and this is a cage dipole, about 65 feet in the air. Bram, go ahead.
Oh, what do you want me to do?
Just tell them what you're running and what antenna.
Oh, I thought you were wanting a signal report. Okay, well, anyway, you're 20 over here, but okay, so I'm running, I switched radios earlier. I'm on the 710 Yaesu. I'm using a Ten-Tech Centurion amplifier with a Johnson Matchbox, about 20 or 30 feet of 300 ohm ladder line soldered to 450 ohm ladder line that's about another 20 or 30 feet. And the loop is up about 20 feet, 25 feet, and it's about 270 feet of wire, something like that.
Are you there, Steve?
Okay, here, this is Mike. What you got to do, though, let's try it this way, because I apologize, because I know that it wasn't a good reading, because I was listening on the beam, and I don't usually listen on the beam, because it's so noisy, but, right now with the hacking, your signals are so strong. But, I went over to the beverage antenna and turned, let me double check. Yeah, okay, so I've got the 10 dB preamp back in, because I listen on a lossy antenna, because it's so much noisier. But here's the other part. Go with 100 watts. Everybody just run 100 watts. Is that easy to do?
Yeah, I'm 100 watts right now. KG7HVR, Prescott Valley, Arizona.
Exactly S9. Exactly S9, and I've got the meter blown up here.
All right, W7WRX, 100 watts.
Oh, yeah, there he goes. Let's see, you're, okay, so yeah, you were about 15. So you have 15.
Actually can't get it down to 100. Maybe, if we're close, let's just call it a tie.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, no, I mean, that was a good 3-4 times the power there. So, I don't know. Oh, you know what? It's almost silly to do, given I don't know the conditions if it's that unstable, but it is like with the solar cycle like it is. It's the sort of thing where you build it up over time. Well, who's got a better antenna? But that's kind of the way to do it. Make sure everybody runs the same power.
I don't feel retune up, but I think I'm doing maybe about 100 watts.
Yeah, that's an S7, just over. It's about an S7 there.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of us run about the same power, but Bram's got that loop that just absolutely kills us in the state. He's definitely the strongest one on the band.
Oh, who does?
Bram. Go ahead, Bram.
Okay, well, this is just the loop, and it's not up very high, but I've been playing around with it, feeding it in different spots. I'm feeding it on the west side. I was feeding it in the north corner. I'm feeding it in the west in the middle now, but it's just number 14 house wire.
Okay, so yeah, you got a pretty good aggressive amount of compression going on. But yeah, that if indeed that was 100 watts, that you have established a really noticeable difference there.
No, I'm running about. It's not actually putting out 1,000. I'm putting out about 800 because this radio doesn't really. The 710 is not real. Like if I get on my ICOM 756, it'll push the amp to about 1,200. So it doesn't really swing as hard. I guess I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's not quite a 100-watt radio or something.
Yeah, I can work. There's a fellow out there who's a QRP or, well, for, 80 meters almost, trying to do the X with 100 watts. But and he comes on every morning, just about every morning. He's from the United States. 6 kilo 3. Oh, I can't quite remember. And his name is Ron. Or Rich, I think his name is. That's it, Rich. And I can work him probably 3 out of 10 days with 100 watts. The trick is, it's the takeoff angle. It's not really so much the gain. It's just what happens when you can't even look. Think about it. Mine's on as a quarter wave high. Ideally, it'd be really good to get it a half wave up. Sort of, then it wouldn't affect the antenna at all.
Can you hear this one?
Oh yeah, that's 20 over.
Okay. Let me, if you don't mind, can I vary my power a little bit?
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. W7 WRX.
Yeah, you were punching it up to 17 or 18 above 9.
Okay. W7 WRX. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, punching you right up to 20.
All right. W7 WRX.
21, 22 right there.
Okay, great. Yeah.
But so, what the trick I think that I get half the game literally from pitching it at probably, 35 or 40 degrees as opposed to what you get even with a dipole at a quarter wave. It still kind of sucks. But you get a lot, more probably than a vertical would by somebody who didn't spend a lot of time breaking their back-footing radials in. Now, the really cool idea I have is to have, find some way to get a half wave on this band. And radials aren't quite important, but the feeding that thing is critical. It can be a pretty, And I mean, that's basically what broadcast stations do. Only they're feeding a tower, and so they're feeding something like 120 ohms, and they can jack that down to 50 easily.
Yeah, supposedly mine's just going right up in the sky. I mean, but I've worked a lot of DX on this antenna, so in fact, actually earlier, what did I get that was kind of strange on sideband? Oh, well, I mean, you know, you can get Japan every once in a while on a loop, you know, with 100 watts too at that. So usually I actually don't use the amplifier.
Yeah, well, yeah, me either. I mean, I was just thinking about how gall darn green I'm going, because this is like a coal-fired, this QRO is, it's like a coal-fired, it will get you 1600 if you really kick at it. It's a transformer, it'll go all night and day until you're dead, this Peter Dahl thing. But now, I don't, it's like the future is these solid state things with linearization that corrects any crap coming out of it, and so you put those two things together, you got a winning combination where you're optimizing it, you get an extra efficiency, you aren't pissing off the guy 3 kilohertz away. That seems like the way to go. But anyway, 10 o'clock out where you guys are, it's just after, oh no, I'm trying to think, what the hell? Yeah, you're like mountain time, or is it during the winter?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, we don't roll back time here unless you're on Navajo reservation.
Oh, yeah, it's Black Friday. I hated that night. Anyway, it's a really good Steely Dan song where they do it live on some late night show. It's just ripping the solos and that. Take care of you guys. 73 and enjoy Black Friday from West Michigan, AAAKB. And my email's good. If you ever need any recordings from Art Bell, someday when I'm really old and decrepit and can't walk around, maybe I'll listen to them. But they're pretty fallacious. Some of them are pretty wild.
Well, hey man, thanks for being there. Thanks for doing the signal reports. But 73s, man, you should put all that on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Like I said, maybe if it weren't for so many nights where it was recorded and really difficult to listen through the QRN. But anyway, like I said, my email's good on the keywords and I was going to say one more thing. No, that's about it. Anyway, I'm out here a reasonable amount, sometimes late at night, and but here we are. It is 31 degrees. We're breaking below freezing. So you guys have and I'm so jealous of you. That's what I was going to say. I was listening to your conversation. I was just putting my coat on. I was going to go out for a walk. And I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. They're talking about art. And then somebody finally said, I wish there were some recordings of him on the ham radio. There must be. So that's the only reason I'm bothering you guys. So I'll shut up. I talk a lot. I don't talk much.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, that was me that said that. Yeah, I would love to check out some of them. You can shoot me an email too if you want at KG7H3R. My email was on QRZ. So anyway, very glad to have you bother us on here. Over.
So I got both of you guys. You doubled kind of. But that's Bram, and who's the other guy?
I'm Clark.
Clark?
Yeah, Clark.
I'm Steve. I'd love to see that too.
Bram before. Yeah, this is Mike. Mike in Michigan, Benton Harbor, Michigan, to be exact. And I'm kind of a late night guy, and I guess it goes back to, I think it was about 2003 when I got out here on 3840. That was the frequency. Ciao, you guys. And no problem. It was a blast from the past. The thing is, there's a lot of hours and a lot of noise, and they're really early recordings from the days when I didn't have Audacity and stuff. So, ciao. See you soon.
All right. Hey, Mike, before you go, we got Steve out here. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I was just saying that I'd love to hear those recordings too. Even if they're bad quality, if you can make them available somewhere online, I'll run them through some noise reduction, clean them up.
Well, Wow, that's brilliant, Steve. Yeah, because what I would do is I would just open up. I remember it was something like in Windows, whatever, 90 something, and it was the sound recorder. I went, okay, now I hook up the receiver. You know, now I've got a transmit board and a receive board. I know what you're saying. Yeah. So okay, you got a deal. You send me an email, and then maybe we can open up some kind of account where I can start putting things on there.
Yeah, roger that. I can share like a Dropbox folder or something you can upload them to, and I've got professional level noise reduction software, so I can probably at the very least, you know, make them more listenable for sure.
I'm sure you can. It's conventional QRS, but of course that's saying a lot because the United States gets ungodly gigantic thunderstorms. We're so lucky. But I'll tell you, man, having to set up beverage antennas, there were nights where you would just turn it on and just say, screw it. You know, your meter would be pegged at 25. But having beverage antennas, anything that's better than a good talking dipole is, you know, so you got a good talking antenna. The trick I learned right away is you got to have a receive antenna. So yeah, shoot me an email and I'll start digging and sending, and I'm sure you'll have some fun stuff that you can let me know what you run across. And ask me questions about the people. I still remember it pretty well. It was pretty. There was like Mount, whatever mountains are there by Pahrump. It was that size battle of egos between Art Bell, the guy who is the KBC. No, he's the K. Yeah, he probably still is. He's in the camera. He's the KCBS head camera robot man. I can't remember. KGU. 6GU. His name was Jim Watkins. And a lot of history. He was like Art Bell's sidekick. And there was Junkin' Steve and good old Billy who lost his life. Anyway, I'll shut up. Good night, you guys. Hey, KB. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, well, thanks for popping in. I'll definitely shoot you that email. KI7WQH.
All good.
Yeah, have a good night, Mike.
Well, guys, I gotta check out here early. I got family stuff I gotta tend to, but I just want to pop in and say hello. I guess I had good timing. So, yeah, if we get those recordings, I'll clean them up and I'll give you guys links to them all. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you guys later. KI7WQH 73.
All right, 73, man. Good to hear you.
Yeah, have a good night, Steve. Yeah, I've talked to Mike a few times. It took me a while to realize that.
Yeah. I always wanted, some kind of a directional antenna on this band, and you know, it's really tough. I mean, you got to do something like he did, or I mean, the other option is if you got a tower, you could do a quarter wave wires off the top of the tower with a network up there to be able to steer it. And I've always wanted to do that. You know, I don't know. Maybe one day I will, just for fun.
I want to move out of here eventually, and I'm not sure exactly how the hell I'm ever going to do that, but I grew up on a 20-acre farm, and I could just imagine if I was to inherit that, what I could do with that, you know. So I was thinking, it was like, where could we buy cheap land and build a house on it, you know? And the problem is, my kids are growing so damn fast, by the time I pull my head out of my butt, they're going to be like 18. You know, but I got to grow up on a farm, you know, and ride dirt bikes and all that stuff, and that's kind of why I'm like, man, I need to do something, and I'm just not really sure what the hell to do. But here, we're stuck in a city lot. I've got a brick wall around the property, and the power line runs behind me, and, you know, I think it's like 100 feet from one end of the wall to the other end of the wall, and then probably like 150 feet from the back to the front. There's not a whole lot of room here. So, you know, a couple of acres with some land and maybe some really good sized trees or something, you know, that would be cool. Make some wire beams.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have to do what we have to do, right? I mean, I'm on a small lot here. I'm happy with what I have. You know, like I said, I'm not complaining, but man, that would just be awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking like Wyoming or Montana or something like that. You know, I don't know. It's just like I've looked at the price of land in Arizona, and either if it's cheap, like you really can't live on it, you know, or it's going to be really hard, you know, or you're completely so far away from everything, you know, and then employment is an issue, you know, lots of things.
I'm not sure you can go anywhere in this country and find something cheap. I think those days are over, man.
Well, you could still buy a 5-acre piece of land for like 10 grand if it's not developed.
Yeah, where?
Well, Montana, Wyoming, places where people don't want to live because it's too cold. Definitely up in Alaska.
Well, there you go. We ran the test. I got to run double your power to get the same signal to him out there. So, you know, the big loop in the air is the way to go.
No, he told you originally. He told me I was 5'9" and you were 20 over. That was with the amps on.
I didn't have the amp on. Yeah, I went from 50 watts up. So you beat me all the way up to legal limit.
So when I keyed up the first time that he said I was 5'9", I had the amp on.
Yeah, but at one point he said you were 20 over or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I was a little confused about that, but he told you that you were 20 over also, and then he said like 17 or something like that. You know, I don't know what kind of radio he's using over there either. I can't remember.
Well, I'm just telling you, I had to run double the power off this dipole to get the same signal there. So, I mean, it's absolutely awesome. If you screw with it, I'll physically be pissed.
3 and 6 RZO.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, how you guys doing out there tonight? I'm down here in San Diego. Where you guys at?
Now we're over here in Phoenix. Bram's up there in Prescott.
Oh, okay, Prescott, Phoenix. I just kind of wonder where you guys were. Getting some good signals down here in San Diego tonight.
Yeah, jump in there anytime, man. You're more than welcome. What are you running?
I'm running the 7300 right now there. Actually, my match is kind of off. Let me tune up here and I'll be right back.
All right.
Trying to figure out. All of a sudden, I hear some weird noise out here. It's like a high pitch, like squeal or something. I'm like, where is that coming from? I wonder if Amazon's going to run any more Black Friday stuff, because they keep. I noticed earlier they started Black Friday on the 17th, and there wasn't no good deals on the 17th. And then a couple days later there were some deals, and then a couple days later there was some more deals. And tomorrow will be the actual real Black Friday. So I'm like wondering, I wonder what they're going to have.
Yeah, they're definitely going to drop it down. But yeah, I don't know. I have to think, what do I need? None of it.
Well, I think you should probably buy a 710 and put one of those radios in the vehicle and hook up the ATOS, and then just put the other one on top of the amp, or not the amp, but the transmitter.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, go ahead.
But anyways, you got Kilo November 6, Romeo Zulu Oscar, operator Mitch down here in the South Bay of San Diego there.
Yeah, okay, Mitch. Yeah, actually, I grew up in San Diego, actually in Vista.
Oh, okay. Oh, what's the call signs there?
Yeah, Whiskey 7, Whiskey Radio X-Ray.
And the other station?
Kilo Golf 7, Hotel Victor Romeo. I was listening to the weird noise in the background. I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know if you guys heard it.
No, I can't. What was the last 3 letters?
Hotel Victor Romeo, like high voltage radio.
Okay. Well, very good, man. You guys are here, and you guys are both giving me some really good signals down here. I mean, they're definitely over 9 into the red.
Yeah, I'm on a Yaesu 710. I bought it a couple weeks ago. Just the stock mic. The 10-tech Centurion amplifier. It's just two 3-500s. It's basically a fancy SB220. And a Johnson Matchbox tuner, some ladder line, and about 260, 270 feet of number 14 house wire. Just kind of around the house. You know, fiberglass poles, a couple of trees in the front. Not real high, about 20, 25 feet high.
Okay. Yeah, I got you like about 15, just short of 20, and the other guy's about 20.
Yeah, W7WRX. What's my signal report?
Wait a moment.
Whiskey 7, Whiskey Radio X-Ray.
Yeah, I got you just peaking just a little bit over 20.
Pretty close.
How am I doing back there?
You're 10 over 9 over here in the Prescott Valley.
Okay, and the other one?
Okay, yeah, W7WRX.
Yeah, go ahead to W7R, 7WRX, like KN6RZO.
Yeah, just wondering what my signal is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello.
Yeah, it's a good amount over 20 now, at least right at the moment. Yeah, just, I don't know, 3 or 4 bars over 20. How am I doing back your way?
Blasting in here about 20 plus.
Yeah, okay, I'm just running about 300 watts out of a G5 RV, and then I've got the 7300 here, and it's a Drake L4B, but it's not working up to its full potential. I'm only getting about 300 of it.
Might only have one tube working.
No, I just put brand new tubes in it, and it wasn't a problem.
Well, I have seen where the solder would fall out of the pins or something, you know. I had my SB220 sitting there, and actually it was still making 500 with one tube. But I can't think of why it would only put out 300 something. Clark, what do you think?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right at all.
I mean, one of those tubes alone, you know, in a AL80s, they come close to putting out 1,000 watts just out of one tube. But I mean, these amps will still run with one tube, you know. They just kind of run a little funny.
Yeah, no, well, I thought it was a tube, you know, because it was old. It didn't look like the tubes had been changed since, you know, what, 65, 67 when they made these. So, which one of you guys was W7WRX? A W7WRX? What's your first personal? Well, did I lose you guys? Hello?
I don't know where he went.
Okay, well, what about you there, KG7RVR?
It's Kilo Golf 7, Hotel Victor Romeo. My name's Bram. Bravo Romeo Alpha Mike, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. He probably just went down the hall or something like that. He'll be back.
That's an unusual name, but what was his name? Hey, Bram, what was the other station's name?
His name's Clark.
Okay, I'm writing this down because if not, I'll forget. So what are you running there, Bram?
I'm the one that's on the loop antenna.
Oh, okay, well, what's the radio?
It's the Yaesu FT710. It's only a couple weeks old.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't afford to, couldn't afford to pass this radio up. A friend of mine sold it to me for $500, so I told him, yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, I told him I was saving up for a radio, and he goes, well, I'll sell you my 7300 for $5. So I said, okay.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them. That's a good price. These are $7.99 right now at HRO. Of course, I paid $8.99 for mine. I've mostly got a bunch of older radios out here, though. I got on this because there's a guy on here earlier, and he wanted to hear it, but I was actually on my old Yaesu 102 earlier. And I got a bunch of 101s and 901s and stuff like that. And then my main radio I usually use is an ICOM 756 Pro.
Yeah, okay. And you have a loop antenna?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of people run those loops. There's a lot of people run a lot of different antenna loops. I was talking with some guy who was running one that's three wire dipoles, like in an umbrella configuration, which sounded like it'd be a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, I think they refer that as a maypole or something like that. But yeah, that's actually really a good way to have something set up where you won't need a tuner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was having some issues with getting this antenna tuner to tune up this antenna there, and I just needed to shorten up the coax a little bit, and then seem to get a really good match now. I don't seem to have any issues with the matching issues no more there. On 80 meters it is a little, you just move a little bit, and I got to readjust there, so.
That could be why you're only able to get 300 out of that thing. It might look like it's tuned, maybe it's just doing something funky, and it's just fighting you back really hard. I noticed 80 meters has I would almost describe it as like a false resonance spot. Like, especially you notice it on a loop if you use an antenna analyzer, and there's a dip like above the band and below the band. And I found this out because I'm trying to adjust the length to where there's a resonant point on 40. And what I found was I needed to have this to where it was like 3.5 megahertz to get 40. And it just wasn't worth it. So, but there's this little dip right above the band, but it's not really a good dip. So if you tune the antenna and it's in that particular category there, I think you end up with some other component that's really strange, to where once you start to run power, the antenna starts to do weird stuff. It's resistive or reactive or something. I don't know. It's over my head. I just know there's a funny behavior that it does.
Well, the only time I have the funny behavior is when I'm trying to use my ground plane between 15 and 10. Then but besides that, when I'm using it just on the wire, it was working good for a while there. I don't know what happened to it. Something happened to it. Started making these weird sounds, So I had to back down the power. So I don't know what it is. If I turn it up too much, it starts getting like a beep, beep sound inside the amplifier. So I'm going to get one of these Mercury 3s. I've already been 3 months now. So hopefully another 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 more, I'll get a call, and the guy I can send him the money, and he can send it to me.
Oh yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Our buddy said he was waiting 11 months. They just called him a couple of days ago. So, well, that noise that you're hearing inside the amp, that's RF. That's definitely RF.
Yeah, when I'm on 10 meters and I key it down, it's like it's putting power out without even no power going into it. So I don't know. When it started messing up my 7300, it started not wanting to turn off, not wanting to turn on. So I reset it, and then I just don't use it on 10 meters no more. It works fine on 80 and 40, so I just use it when I'm on the 80 and 40 now. You know, just waiting it out till I get a chance to get the other amplifier.
Yeah, that's RF feedback right there. When you see it doing that, it's oscillating or something. And also the 7300 doesn't like any kind of RF feeding back into it. That's a good way to run it.
Yeah. Well, I think my antenna systems are working pretty good. I mean, as far as I know, I'm at least getting about the same signal that people are bringing on me. You know, about what somebody hits me with is about what I hit them with. And like I said, I don't know what wattage you were running. How much were you running?
I'm running pretty close to legal limit. So the G5RV radiates on the feed line, and so if you don't have a good way of blocking the RF from going back up your coax, and you mentioned that you needed to adjust the length of your coax, so that's kind of typical of the G5RV. They actually say and recommend that you should have at least, like, I think 70 feet of coax or something, and that's just to give it enough length to kind of decouple itself. But if you're noticing that kind of behavior, that's RF getting back in there, and RF is one of the things that can actually cause the 7300 to go into a auto biasing thing and cause the finals in the radio to fail.
You know, I think I'm okay though. Like I said, I'm talking on this one. The SWR is very minimal. I mean, it's maybe getting like a little less than 1.5 or something on the peaks.
Yep. Well, I would look into why that amp's only putting out 300 watts, because you should be able to get at least 500 even if only one tube is working.
What meter are you using?
What?
What watt meter?
Well, it's the NFJ antenna tuner. It's 962B, and I'm using a meter on the front of that.
Okay, yeah, so hitting them peak meters, probably doing full power.
I think so. Well, I mean, it's only saying 300 on this one. I know it used to do more. I mean, I used to have it when I had it hooked to my ground plane. It was doing like 8, almost legal limit according to the meter on the front of the amplifier, which is pretty much in sync with the meter that's in the antenna tuner.
Yeah, well, what MFJ does is they have a peak and a regular on those tuners, and in some of them, if it's a really new one, it's actually got an active peak circuit that requires voltage. If not, it just adds some capacitors. It kind of mimics it, but you definitely should be reading more than 300 on the MFJ. It's not doing any. It's gonna, if it's reading 300 and you have it in non-peak mode, you might be doing 500, but you should be doing more than 500 out of that amplifier.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, but like I said, I was thinking about getting it fixed and taking it in and have it worked on and fixed, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should just get something new. Like I got the radio new, might as well upgrade and get I thought the Mercury amplifier would be the best thing to get. I mean, I don't have to worry about the tubes or warming it up or anything for any length of time or anything. So, I don't know, there's a lot of different things too. I'm kind of worried too, if I fix this thing, it's going to break down again, and I just don't want to deal with it.
There's no warm-up time on a 3-500. They made some amps that turn off in between syllables. you're going to need to address whatever the problem is, because it's probably antenna related, and you go hook a brand new Mercury up to it and you're going to have problems too. And that's just my opinion. I don't know your whole station setup, but I mean, you could have a bad piece of coax somewhere. You could have, they get stepped on too many times and the braid tries to intrude on the foam and stuff like that. I mean, there's a bunch of different things, but when the amplifier is working and it's putting out 300 watts and there's not smoke rolling out of it, there's something wrong.
Well, I mean, okay, here's my radio just by itself without the amplifier. This is just the 7300 here, all by itself here.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. And then the other thing too is your radio folding back power? Is your radio not putting full power into the amplifier? That's another reason it could be only putting out 300 watts.
Well, it might just be like you said, it's just not a peak breed meter, It's probably doing like, instead of 3, it's probably doing like 6 at a peak. No, my radio's showing full 100%. Right there, I mean, as I talk, it peaks right at 100%, so I think it should be doing what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, when it's reading the radio on the radio by itself, when it only says 50, so this meter is just probably like an average meter. It's not going to be like from a peak meter. It's probably going to be half of what it should do, or what it's doing.
Well, you should be able to go and take that radio, whistle into the microphone with that amp tuned up properly, and you should see at least 800, 900 watts out of it.
Oh, I know, but that's the issue. That's what I was doing before, like 800. So it just changed, and I don't know what's causing it. So, I don't know what it's been put through or anything, So, really haven't got much history on it. Just guy sold it to me for $750, and I it was working good though when he sold it to me.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what kind of meter you have. If it's peak or RMS, you whistle into it, you'll see full output. When you talk on sideband, that's another story. But if you put a carrier into it that's 100 watts, or you whistle into it, and so I'm just trying to help you out there. I'm telling you, there's definitely something wrong.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think it's in the antenna system, because it's a fairly new antenna, new coax, new, radio. Everything's new. It shouldn't be no problem with it. And the only thing that's not new is the amplifier, so I kind of tend to think to myself that there's something in that,
I bet you there's nothing wrong with your amp.
Well, I mean, I tried into the dummy load. It does the same thing. That's bypassing all the antennas, so.
Well, I don't know. Maybe find somebody in your area that works on them. It's worth fixing it. I mean, it's a good amplifier. I'd have somebody look at it and see what's wrong with it, especially if you put a new tube in it already.
Oh yeah, I put 2 of them. They were like $500 to do. I just really, like I said, I'm gonna fix it, but I'm just gonna get the Mercury and fix this one too. But I don't know. I might just fix it just to sell it.
You're not gonna get your money back out of it at this point. You paid $750 for it and $500 for some tubes, and the amp's worth $900.
It's like I kind of really just wanted to get that Mercury and just be, have something nice new that shouldn't break down.
Yep, well, yeah. In the meantime, you're probably going to be waiting, maybe 5 or 6 more months, I would think, for them to call you. Anyway, I got to get out of here. It's been great. And Clark, I'll catch you later. This is KG7H3R.
All right, man. Yep. Talk to you tomorrow or the next day.
All right, take it easy out there, bro. KG7HVR, KN6RZO.